Hello, this is 𝙍𝙊𝙈𝙈𝙆𝙕, and I am so honored to bring so many light workers, healers, and mystics to you. This is our monthly call where we meet each other, we share our work, we highlight what's coming up for us, and we find ways that we can support or collaborate or get to know each other in new ways. I find that this is incredibly important based on where we are in the world right now, that us energy bringers are really being asked to work together more so that we can infuse our frequencies together to really help raise the frequency of the planet. And I feel like this is such a special time for all of us that have been heads down, doing the inside work for decades. It is our time to shine in so many ways, and bringing us together monthly is really just an opportunity to make the world a little smaller and bring all of our work closer together. So, with that, I'd love to open the floor where people can share what they're working on, what's on the horizon, and how to find them. So, with that, I just want to thank all of you for coming. And before we do that, I would love to just take a few minutes to just ground. I love to leave the work that I was just working on behind me so that I can be in the present moment. I love feeling my feet on the ground and really truncating into Mother Earth while I let the light from above shine down in through my head, out through my third eye, and down into my toes so that I can work with the highest light in Mother Nature while I'm with all of you today. So, with that, I just want to honor you and thank you for making the time to be with all of us. And so, with that, if we have somebody that wants to jump in and talk about what they're working on, I would love it.
Awesome. I'm Megan Edge, and I'm a master healer from Canada. I live in British Columbia, which is on the west coast, about 2 blocks from the ocean. This is where I was born and bred, so it's in my DNA to be near the water and the forests and the fields and the beaches and all those wonderful environments, which influences the work that I do as a healer. A lot of my focus is on helping people to recognize and remember who they are through a variety of modalities. I work as an intuitive counselor. The work that I do, I have coined mind, body, and soul healing. So the mind piece is where I work with the client in the intuitive counseling relationship, and that's helping them understand the way in which they are telling their story, because there's so much good information in how a person is showing up in the world by the way that they tell their story, they share their experiences. And quite often, the source of the angst or the trauma is being held in the story. And so, when we can work with the story to reframe it, to use new language, and to understand the value and the purpose of the experiences that a person has had in their lives, we can we can dissolve the trauma. The trauma, it doesn't hold a person any longer. I also work with the body, and that's working at the cellular level as well as the physical level. So looking at ways in which a person can change their lives through food as medicine, through plants as medicine, through supplements and nutrition as medicine, essential oils. I work extensively with essential oils, and I do a lot of that through I've got 3 or 4 companies. One is called Megan Edge Healing. That's the main umbrella of the work that I do. And then I have another company called Beyond the Garden Gate Botanicals. And that's where I do a lot of my foraging. And foraging is going out into the wild or urban settings and essentially finding and harvesting food and medicine from nature. And I teach people how to do that. I teach them to be able to reconnect with their natural environment and also understand how that environment can support them through an understanding of the plants and the animals that are around them and the medicine that is there for them through that. And then the soul piece is the spiritual piece. That's looking at the bigger picture of the soul's desire in coming into this human form, lifetime after lifetime. What is the purpose? What's the life path that the soul is walking? And what has the soul brought into this lifetime to be healed, or for the human part of that soul to benefit from and to learn from? So mind, body, and soul healing, it's quite an encompassing umbrella of healing modalities. I've been doing this for over 30 years, so I've had time to collect a few different ways to help people and to be of service. what I'm bringing forward right now is I'm stepping back into my role as an intuitive teacher and educator. So I have a whole body of work that I've created over the last 30 years of classes and courses and certifications and workshops and ways of helping people, just stepping out in front of people and sharing the things that I've learned in any way that can be beneficial. I stepped away from that about 4 years ago for a variety of reasons, some of which are common to all of us and some of which are personal. And over the last year, I've been reconnecting and establishing and bringing forward these amazing programs and courses. And I'm so excited. Just yesterday on Learn It Live, I set up my chakra journey, which is a 12-week course. Each week is a different class, a separate class, focusing in on one of the 11 chakras that I teach on, and putting it out there on that platform. That took about the whole day and about the last 3 years, but mostly it was yesterday. So that I'm very excited about, and I'll put that down in the chat because that's my most recent offering for helping people. And that's me in a nutshell. Thank you.
I'll go next because I think I'm quite similar in approach. However, potentially, slightly more leaning towards a technique called body talk, not slightly, and the gene keys. So I own a business called Listen to the Body Talk, and it literally has that potential through muscle checking to talk to the body through the heart, through the muscles, that communicate a message that may be beyond what the intellectual mind or even the emotional mind might know is there. We go down to not only the cellular level, but that of the DNA, because many of our issues, many of our inherited or lifetime challenges get stored down at the level of what's called epigenetics, which are the little flags on the DNA that we inherited. Well, we can inherit the little flags too. So mom's issues, grandma living through the depression, all of those sorts of things can have an impact on our lives here in this lifetime because of that inherited DNA, the epigenetics. Now, my interpretation is such that we are here on the planet in the present moment, and we have the opportunity to not only go down and unlock the DNA for ourselves, but unlock that has been inherited, and therefore stopping the progression of those challenges for future generations. So that happens both energetically, it happens scientifically, it happens through physiology, it happens through the anatomy itself. So we can look at cancer starting to develop or stress that's causing physical illness and nip it in the core. And that happens through consciousness-based healing. So the gene keys are a way of looking at astrology, the planets, as well as the I Ching, which is an ancient Chinese oracle, human design, astrology, not just astronomy, but astrology, and as well down to the organs, endocrines, and body parts, down to the level of the genes. And there are poetic words associated with each gene. They make certain proteins or amino acids, and there are consciousness-based definitions there too. And then there's also what does it do scientifically. So I have combined my new research, or my new, not research, my new development, my new program is going to be a 12-week. Megan, you're confirming that for me, that that's possible to do. A 12-week series on how to combine those scientific anatomy, physiology, and psychology and look at it from a contemplative perspective, from someone who studied the gene keys, someone who has the techniques of body talk from a practitioner perspective, and then any interested party that wants to bring in the nature of animals, the nature of minerals and gems and crystals. Essential oils are a part of that too, and as well what's in the body. So I've brought together a series of works that combine all those because of the astrology connection, right? We can connect the body to these consciousness tools, both the super small as well as the super big, through a connection of where we sit on the planet in our birth date, time, and place. Yes. So that's what I'm doing. It's called Mind Body Maps. And my business is called Listen to the Body Talk, listentothebodytalk.com.
So good. And Megan, when you might want to check out last month, Catherine showed a picture of how she integrates so many of the things that people talk about into like one slide. You may benefit even just talking to each other, and there might be some synergy. Cincinnati to British Columbia.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, I could go next. I'm Mary Hernandez, and I am a physical medium. And I have to say that I've been seeing some amazing miracles coming through. So I just got report or a video from a cancer patient that was given 2 weeks to live. And I've been seeing him since February 26th, and he's singing karaoke, he's driving, and not only that, like dialysis patients, I've been seeing one or two, and it's just like, and I'm also seeing a doctor, and they're just flabbergasted, and I am just so full of joy of the miracles that are coming through this vessel, through the divine. Of course, the divine is doing all the work, because I am just a vessel. It's just coming through me, and it's just, as a physical medium, I don't know if you guys know, it's basically, you can feel, sense, touch, hear, ectoplasm comes through my face, so my face changes into Mother Mary. In some of the Instagram videos, you will see that my face is actually Mother Mary's face, and she's one of the control guides for me that actually comes through and speaks trance channels, and brings this beautiful healing, and with her words, with her presence, and it's just been magical. And I just want to say that it's just seeing it happen, and just witnessing what the miracles that are happening are just like filling my heart with joy. I actually have been like emotionally crying, because it's just so beautiful to see people heal. And it takes believing, right? Because you have to work with their mental as well. So it's not only miracles coming through the divine, through my vessel, but it's also working with their mind, similar with Megan. It's your thoughts become things. Everything is energy. So basically, I have to reword when they claim I have this. No, you were diagnosed. And believe me, I've had health challenges in my life, so I speak from experience when I tell them this, that basically it's the changing of your words will change your energy as well. So you change your words, you change your body, you heal even faster. So and just knowing that, so other things that I do besides that, which is just miracles coming through, I'm also a sacred sound healer, so I bring through beautiful sounds. And in this sound healing, basically there's messages from the divine. Of course, Mother Mary shows up, Saint Germain, I mean, a host of, and all the passed on loved ones that are invited to it. And I have one this weekend, actually. So for those of you, I'll be in Yellow Springs, and I don't think you guys should miss it. I mean, you guys are not that far, but it's at 6:30 p.m. It's the sound bath, but it's just gonna be like, it's not just a sound bath. It's just something out of this world amazing. And what's coming through, it's like more singing and with the bowls, and more angelic tones with it. And I'm also a Reiki master. And what else? I also do tarot card readings and oracle card readings, but I love channeling too. So, and yeah, I could just say that the healings have been amazing. So
I
thank
have
you.
to admit that in a very, or not admit, but endorse Mary in a very strong way. I had neck pain and I got a session from her this week. And she identified that with no, preconceived information. She had the angels, the archangels, and the ascended masters and Mother Mary come in and just work on this neck that's been clicking for years, at least since 2016, and dramatic healing. I hope, she said by the 14th it will be completely, but I have to say now it's like 90% gone. So I absolutely endorse Mary's work, and she channels beautifully for healing.
Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna go
Mary,
next
hold on
because
one second, Rose. So Mary, will you pop your website in the chat so people have it? I'm going to keep it in the notes for the meeting, and I have someone I'm going to send to you too.
Okay.
So,
Okay, good.
so
Thank you.
good. Awesome. So Rose, California Rose, you're shifting. She does work with Mary Magdalene too, so I can't wait.
yes, yes, yes. Um, thank you, thank you. Yes, after last month's Connect call, I think Catherine, you sent me a message, so I appreciate the synchronicity of the numbers was amazing. And Mary and I also connected, and we did find out we channel and we work with similar ascended masters. Oh my God, that's so cool. And yes, talking about magic and miracles, Mary, after we connected, maybe it was text. I think I told you, I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm fighting a cold. And that night, oh my God, I literally felt my whole body pass the sickness through, like while I was sleeping, because I was remembering, I'm like, oh, I woke up like really early in the morning. I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't think I can work today. I'm feeling like sick. And then went back to sleep, literally felt the whatever virus went through me. So that's just magic when we all connect and remember our light, and whether it's through each one of us, the other one, it to me, it's all like we're all connected and one. So appreciate this connection, JJ. So wonderful. Um, so I am here to awaken modern mystics to their divine creator power. So they remember like the truth and the authenticity of who they truly are. Like we are all here to create our own reality, and lots of people just forget that, right? And similar to most of you, I do that by integrating healing practices. So mind, body, soul, spirit, all of those things. And I've also started channeling, I'm calling it Light Lines. That's the download that was given by Mary Magdalene. So a couple of things that she gifted me was the Flame of the Rose. Some people know it by the Living Flame of Love, similar to the um, violet flame, but it's slightly different, but similar concept. So it transmutes any and everything and brings it back into, like, brings our bodies, layers of our being back into our crystalline state. So that's been like so, so, so powerful. And again, when I work with people, like whether it's physical ailments or mental, spiritual, anything, right? So to me, it's like nothing is too deep, nothing is too weird, nothing is too dark. Because every time I get somebody new, they're like, this is so dark. I'm like, trust me, nothing is so dark, because when you open to that divine power, as you all know, and channel in, and their guides come through, their ancestors come through, dragons come through, sometimes I'm in the fairy realm, all of it is welcome, right? So it's just been so amazing. And similar to a few of you saying, all this magic and miracles. I helped somebody a couple of weeks ago. It was literally less than half an hour. And the moment I connected with her, it's like, went to your lower left sacral chakra, and then we uncovered something, that's deep, 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 deeply hidden. And I think it's like lifetimes of stuff that we unraveled. She didn't tell me what went on, but I just got a couple messages yesterday and the other day that, long story short, like the organs were shutting down and she was on sepsis watch. And I'm like, little girl and all of that, but all of it got healed. So it's so amazing. It's so amazing. And now she's in full health, in clarity, in alignment. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is just such a gift. Thank you, Divine. And sometimes, I help someone, and then right after their session, they're like totally different person. Like they shift into a totally different person, from somebody who's blocked and stuck to like somebody who's totally bubbly and like, talking to like groups right away. I'm like, oh my goodness. So it's been so rewarding just helping people open up and remember to the truth of who they are in the deepest level. So again, thank you. I love all of your work. I am one of those people who, my website is not quite up to date, 𝙅𝙊𝙄𝙉.com. I'm barely on social media. Most of my clients are referrals and word of mouth. They happen to just come in the most highly aligned ways. So I am just here, and I think I'm going back into JJ's podcast pretty soon. So I'm so excited about that. I will post my number and my website in there, but that desperately needs an upgrade because I feel like I just keep on like shifting, expanding each and every month. So thank you all, and how nice to see you and meet you. Thanks.
Well, this is really an impressive group. I'm impressed. My name's 𝙅𝙊𝙈𝙈𝙈𝙈𝙐𝙉, and I have published a book. It is the first of 3 volumes of a collection of messages and teachings dictated directly from spirit teachers from the other side, dictated word for word through my mother, so I know the source, and she received these messages and teachings for 22 years. I was brought up with a foundation of faith, church-based, Bible-based, but I've always been more spiritual than religious. And we're all spoken to. We all have our own spirit guides, spirit teachers, angels, if that's your perspective. And when Wilma Jean Jones, my mother, was led to sit down in these dedicated sessions, she had set up an electric typewriter in her kitchen. And she had been spoken to before in thought. But when she would be led to sit down in these sessions, she would see words, just 3 or 4 words that would float into her mind and hang there. They would not go away until she typed them. Once she typed those 3 or 4 words, they would just fade away, and 3 or 4 more would show up. That's the way she received these messages. This wasn't channeling. This wasn't automatic writing. She was taking dictation. On my website, spiritspeaks.com, there are tabs at the top, bio for me, bio for my mother, and there's a tab for a television interview that my mother gave in Cincinnati. Posted on her interview is a message from volume 2 of the book, and this was the only time in a session where she was led to sit down and receive. 2 different spirit teachers moved in the same session, gave 2 different messages, and signed 2 different names. And it was obvious that the second teacher was a different teacher than the first, because the whole cadence and phrasing of the message is different. And these spirit teachers exist in the spiritual realm on the other side of this physical plane. And we're separated by a veil, a vibration, a frequency. We don't really know the medium that separates us. But I tell people, I said, there is no death. We never really die. It's just graduation. We ride around in these bodies the way we ride around in our cars. And when we cross over for whatever reason that our time here on this planet is done, then we exist in the spiritual realm and go to possibly an evaluation center where we get to look back and see what we did right, what we did wrong. There are two movies that I recommend, and I don't know if any of you have seen these, but they're outstanding as far as the perspective. One is called Defending Your Life, that has Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep in it. The other is called Always, that has Richard Dreyfuss and Holly Hunter in it. And I'll also give a third one. It's called The Last Minzy, Mimzy. That will give you a perspective on what all of this is about. Now, again, on the website, spiritspeaks.com, if you scroll down to the middle of the homepage, there's a painting that I have at home. There's 5 hidden messages in that painting. So you can take a journey through the painting, find the hidden messages. And the last message that you'll find is a message that my mother received in thought, just working around the kitchen one day. And these words started to come into her mind. She knew it was incoming. She picked up pen and paper. She had beautiful handwriting. And this message was what she felt was confirmation. She should put these messages and teachings in a book. She had been praying about it. The message themselves, volume 1 was pretty much all personal messages to my mother and to me, but it's like they're woven with a universal thread. And everyone who has read these messages have said, well, this sounds like what I'm dealing with. This sounds like they're talking to me. And I tell people, I say, when you get the book, read each message once as it was given for my mom and given for me. Then read that same message again as if it's being presented for you and see what hits. It's amazing what hits. So take a look, see what you think. If you have any questions, I have a contact page on my website. Feel free to contact me and I'd be happy to share additional information like I shared with JJ after we did our interview with 3 messages from volume 2 and a message that I received dictated to my mind in thought in answer to a publisher's question when I was first looking for a publisher. They asked, I was on a website that asked questions about your work. One of the questions was, what makes your material unique? Why would anyone want to read this? Great question. And I was sitting at my computer. I didn't really even ask for an answer. I just relaxed my mind. And an answer started to be dictated to my mind. It was 12 lines long. And I just took it down as it came. And I have read that answer to a number of hosts on the air, and more than one has teared up. I take no credit for that. So that is my story.
Nice. Great. And I'm keeping a list of everyone's website to put with the video. So Michael, I did put your stuff on there and your movie recommendations.
All right. Thank you, JJ.
You're welcome. Thank you. Judy, do you want to go? There she is.
I'll go next. Thank you. So my name's Judy Onorato. I'm in Ontario, Canada, and my specialty is working with bringing together astrology, numerology, and Chinese metaphysics as a way to be able to see who you are in your or recognize who you are, not say who you are, but really to recognize who you are and your life path and purpose, and also to apply it to our businesses. And we've got this journey of both your life path and purpose and our business, which can be challenging at times. Definitely that's where the spirituality comes in, and holding the faith when things don't, when we're operating in a different way than the average bear, we could say. And so with the astrology and the Chinese metaphysics, you can see things like, are you going to be seen this year, or do you, or so I'm going blank for a second. Are you going to be seen this year, or is it a year more for your own personal growth? And so when we understand these things, as opposed to so much out there, it's like push through, push on. This is the way to do it. It really is about helping you come back into finding your own unique way, your own timing. And you know, I tend to work with women, predominantly women, that are more on the gentler side. There, you know, so there's so much demand these days to be out there, and not all of us want to be out there, but we have really big work to do and to spread the word. And it's being able to do it from this place of grace and being able to move forward in grace. Yeah, and just genuinely be yourself and be at peace with the unfolding way that's happening for us, as opposed to having that angst and that frustration because it doesn't appear the same way as, you know, what's typical or what's shown as the way. And you know, that kind, you know, and really being able to be at peace with yourself, with your own version of success and your own version of wealth, in the process. Yeah, just background. I used to make, I've made flower essences along the way. So it doesn't, and worked with crystals. So at the end of the day, it really is about energy and having the support of energy, but particularly focused on your work, on your productivity, on your impact. But like I said, in a graceful way.
I can go next because I think what I do kind of aligns with Judy's background in astrology. So I help parents understand their children's astrological birth charts. My passion is astrology and understanding our birth charts as the original personality blueprint. My background is psychology, and I worked in the corporate world for 15 years. And I didn't come across birth charts until my late 30s. And I was absolutely blown away at the accuracy of these personality assessments, I like to call them. I mean, it is the original personality assessment that the, you know, general public still does not quite understand or doesn't think it's as helpful as it actually is. So my mission is to bring this to more people and have them understand the power in knowing their own birth chart, and how, you know, they can understand themselves better and also understand their kids. So I, of course, am trying to figure out how to bring this to the most people. And I figure that going to parents and explaining to them the value of knowing their child's birth chart as it relates to like extracurricular activities, what are, you know, every parent wants to know, well, what's the best thing for my kid, right? So finding that that will speak to the broader collective and that will pique the interest of your average person. And so that's what I'm currently working on now. I'm setting up, I've just started running ads, and, you know, have like a $27 product, like, oh, you can figure out your child's best extracurricular activities. So that's really what I'm going to bring to the world, and just make it more available and accessible to people. Yay. So still very much in the beginning of my journey, but I appreciate, you know, people here talking about like cycle breakers and epigenetics. My parents still think I have my corporate job. So they would absolutely freak out. And I can't deal with that energy, right? Of like, well, what are you doing about money and all the things? And I am very grateful to have savings. I worked so long. And I had, you know, it was a very prominent position that I had, actually. So I have my 401k, I have all the things, but, you know, I have had to also take out loans. I mean, I'm at that point where I really have to make this work. But yes, it is a journey. It's definitely a journey. You have to break through limiting beliefs, right? I mean, it's all the things. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I'm based in St. Louis, and I am involved with the women's business group here. And it's really great to see all the support from that group as well. So I'm a big fan of the local community, but also I love this, that we have this online community as well. So yay. And then Megan, you haven't come out of the psychic closet yet. So what does that mean? I don't know. That my parents, yes. Oh, got it. That my parents. So they do know that I do astrology and then I do little workshops in St. Louis. But they think it's like a side thing. So yeah. No, my mom is in her 70s. When I introduced her to astrology, it really opened up her world. And she's now more understanding of the dynamics that she has with my dad. She's an Aquarius moon. She's always felt like as an outsider. So they're big proponents of it, but it's the limiting belief of like, well, how are you going to make an income off that? So that's why I have to keep it close to my vest because, my son, he's starting private school. They would be like, how are you paying for that? So, anyways, I'm sure we can all appreciate, yes, you have to keep it to yourself.
If I can jump in just for a second, Caroline, what I mean by coming out of the psychic closet, when I first started to do this work and I was doing a whole lot of different trainings, I was learning EFT, I was learning past life exploration, I was learning psychic work, mediumship, all of that. My family thought I was going to yoga class. And I went down to California to do a week-long training with Doreen Virtue, who at the time was very much immersed in this world. She isn't any longer. And I told them I was going on a yoga retreat. And the interesting thing is that not a single person in my family said, but you don't do yoga. I'd never taken a yoga class in my life. I never talked about yoga, but it was easier for them to believe and feel okay with I'm on a yoga retreat than I'm going down to learn how to do channeling and read cards and tap into my psychicness. So I used to joke that once I put my shingle out as a psychic healer, that I had come out of the psychic closet. So that's what I meant by that.
Got it. Yep. No, and they probably thought, oh, she's just finding herself. Yeah, the yoga is a big thing now, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. No, and I feel so honored. I mean, the gifts that everyone has here is just incredible. So it's pretty cool. Very cool to be a part of this. And I'm grateful to JJ, for pulling me in and all of that. So thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Isabel Zimmerman, and I am a full-time Ascension teacher. I just want to let you know, Caroline, I listened to your podcast and I loved it. And I am going to put your little tiny course for $27 on my website. So I will be connecting with you, my dear.
Awesome.
I loved your podcast. I am very, very busy with spirit. I just want to let you know I am the embodiment of Goddess Athena, and I'm a little afraid of her, just to let you know. And it's not like Isabel Zimmerman says, please let me be the embodiment of Goddess Athena. No. The one that I really work with is Goddess Isis. So hello, Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, dragons and fairies, soul family. Hello, hello, hello. I work with spiritual teachers and healers. Yes, I do. I put my spiritual teachers and healers on task, on mission. And how do I do that? Well, Goddess Athena and Isis both had sleep temples. So they were very into hypnosis. Now, if you said, Isabel Zimmerman, you are going to do hypnosis, I would have said, I have no desire and I do not want to do that. And that was not the case. I was asked to learn hypnosis, which I did, because go ahead and say no to Goddess Isis and Athena or to your mission. Good luck, human. So I was in corporate America since age 14. I worked in IT and operations. I walked away from my husband, my Victorian house, and my career. And so when I talk to my spiritual teachers and healers, I do not ask you to do anything that I have not done. And so, Megan, I love what you do. And I want to connect with you because the humans do need to know how to forage. I have a lot of spiritual teachers that are having past lives of remembrance of plant medicine and how to work with it with crystals of vibration and light. Chinese medicine teachers, you are absolutely right that Eastern and Western must be braided just like the divine feminine and masculine. Catherine, absolutely. I will be sending you kids or students or children, as I like to call them, because that is the beginning of opening up their heart through their body, because not everyone awakens the same way. As I am an ascension teacher, I am passionate around the ascension. When I work with my spiritual teachers and healers, I can only take a few at a time. It is very time consuming, but I use hypnosis. I am not a hypnotherapist. I use hypnosis as my tool to access, like a computer, into your field to do the healing. When we learn hypnosis here, unfortunately, or awareness, it matters not, they do not focus on the healing. We are not going into your soul field to know who you are. That is just a side benefit. We are going into your soul field to do much, much greater work. That means it's healing. That means it's activation. That means it's connecting to your team. That means it's strengthening that connection to your team. And that means you are on point, on mission. We are not here because mom and dad had sex. We are here for the grand awakening. And we have learned over many, many, many lifetimes. This is our species' grand awakening. Atlantis is arising again, my teachers and healers. And we are being called on point, on missions. We are boots on the ground, and we will rise together. So please, please call me, text me. I will put you on my website. I will shout your name to the universe. We are needed. We are one. So, as an ascension teacher, again, I am honored to work with my teachers and healers. I am honored to work with the higher selves. I have been doing this for 7 years, over 1,000 sessions, dear ones, 1,000 higher selves, the dragons, the fairies, the druids. Do you understand? Yeshua is one of my main guides. Isis is one of my, sometimes in my sessions, they'll say, Isabel, 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 I see you, I see you, I see you. And I say, uh-huh. And you're wearing gold. And I'm like, uh-huh. And they're like, your goddess Isis. And I'm like, uh-huh. And so when I work with my teachers, sometimes we go into the Sphinx and we learn, because goddess Isis was a high priestess of angelic magic. So again, we work with that angelic realm, a remembrance, right? So yes, I do want you all to connect with me. And what I'm working on, I did a tiny course for $27. Most humans on this planet needs to take this course. It is a very powerful course. I would be honored to give it all to you for free, but I cannot give it to free for the ones who need to take the course because it's too spicy. They need to have the offering of the red pill, blue pill, because in that course, there is a snippet of a session of a life of a woman losing her baby, and she's crying. And then you meet 𝘾𝙊𝙈, her higher self, who's an angelic higher self, and explains why that life was created to lose the loss of that child. And sometimes that is too jarring for a human. That's your oh shit moment. But that course is needed because I teach the how to reduce judgment. I'm a very practical teacher. Anyone who comes to me, we are cooking. We are not looking at food. We are not going to the restaurant. We are not just shopping for ingredients so it can rot in your refrigerator. We are in the kitchen and we are slicing that potato and we are cooking. And then the other one that I'm working on is called the Mighty Tiny Awakening Handbook. And that is very gentle. There is no teachings in that, but it's cartoons of what happens to you when you awaken. So like your emotional roller coaster, your ascension symptoms, you seeing energy, that kind of thing. So that I'm hoping to be done by April. I have a lot of projects from Spirit Team. They have me hopping. And Mary, if you are really near her, and if you can, please, 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 in the name of God and go within, please go to her singing bowls, because I got a download that when the light workers come in that location, it will be opening up a portal of light, and it will be awakening that town in a greater rippling manner, because they will see. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but in Europe, there was a blue spiral from the god of Neptune that the humans saw. See, the humans are going to start to see really amazing and magical things. So not only is there chaos and shifting sands, there's going to be great miracles. So as Yeshua says, high miracles and high tragedies. And so the light workers need to come together, because we really are braiding our light now. Okay, I know they come in, sometimes they're super, super strong. But if you have any questions, I took notes on all my teachers and light workers. So really, 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 I cannot wait to connect with you all. Seriously.
And I have to say, I've been working with Isabel for the past few months, and oh my gosh, yes. What you just saw is nothing. It's just like, well, it's not nothing, but if you're like hyped up about the way it was channeled, it's just like, oh my gosh, working with Isabel has changed my life. So, and yes, it's going on your mission, being on your mission, and it's no BS, right? You just have to be ready for it all, and the honesty that comes through Athena and Goddess Isis and all the other goddesses that she channels. So yeah, I highly recommend even an exploratory call with her, or just book her. I mean, because soon she's going to be so busy that it's like, yeah, all the teachers are going to her. Thank you, Isabel.
Yes.
Yes.
And really, if you haven't had a healing session with Mary, so a physical medium is very rare. So Spirit told me that I had to work with Mary. And Mary and I met in another group, just so you guys know. And because Spirit will wake me up in the middle of the night. And so I contacted Mary, and then she said, oh, I'm a physical medium. And she's very rare. They're very rare. They're not common. Takes many, many, many lifetimes to become a physical medium. And so what that is she's the bridge through her body in ectoplasma. So just like the Ghostbusters in that movie, Ectoplasma, that is true. And so the human can see spirit physically with human eyes. And sometimes the human, unfortunately, or fortunately, it matters not, sometimes we need to see something that defies logic to open us up. So when they feel it and they see it, that's very powerful. And she's very rare. And her healing, I've sent, I don't know, Mary, 15 of my teachers to you.
Maybe
and
more.
They're all blown away. They're all blown away. So if you haven't had a session with her, that is foolish. Book a session. She is very healing and she's very inexpensive. So there's no boo-hoo-hoos around money. Book a session with her, because we all need healing. I've done healings with her, because even though I channel, I'm connected, There are things hidden within us. It's just the way it is. And who gives a shit? Really? Who gives a shit? Let's move on. Okay.
This is always more than I can even imagine. I just we need each other for exactly what you're saying, Isabel. I love your channeling. That to me is true validation for the reason we all came together here today. And I think there's no accidents on the mixing and matching month to month on who shows up. This feels so incredible. I just want to thank all of you for making the time. I think I have shown you at some point that I do have a space for anyone that wants to put events. This is Together We Seek online, and we post all the posts up here, but the great thing, it has all the upcoming events you can post into, featured events, and then there's tons of people that come on a lot of the calls. You can just fill it out, and it's an easy way to stay connected and share your work with other people that are doing similar work. And then I've been pulling some of the events and even putting it in my newsletter. So Together We Seek online is a great way to just kind of get together outside of these meetings if you're interested. And I love the fact that you're all connecting to each other on your own too. So for me, this is check the box. So thank you so much for joining us for this hour. The next one will be the second Friday. It'll be May 9th at 11 a.m. May 9th at 11 a.m. Eastern time for anybody who wants to put on their schedule. It should be on if you've accepted this one, but if you need a repeat, let me know. And as we're rounding out the hour, I just want to say thank you to all of you. You are more magical than you know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
JJ. What a
Yes, thank
spicy
you,
group
JJ.
today.
Lots of
Oh my
hearts to
goodness.
everyone. Thank
Woo.
you.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you, Michael, for being the only man on the call this time, but we're going to recruit more. And if there's people that you feel like could really benefit and contribute, I'm honestly always welcome for great recommendations and adds to this. So with that,
Thank you.
enjoy the work that you do, enjoy the weekend, and keep shining your light.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Nice meeting you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.